Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening and welcome to the DRSCCA F4 Series. Round 9 takes us to Watkins, Glen. And it's not going to be the dry affair that we are used to. It is in fact wet, and that's going to make it an almighty challenge for the drivers on circuit. In case you're wondering how many we've got on circuit tonight, we've got 22. So around about the same as last week that we had at Belle Isle. I am Tom Kent in the commentary position. Alongside me is Charles Beauchel with Amet behind the scenes producing this evening. Let's bring Charles into the booth and get a word from him and hear what he has to say on what he expects to see this evening, considering all the standing water out on the circuit. Charles, it's going to be an interesting one here tonight with all the saturated water on the racetrack.
Yeah, Tom, it really is. This is a completely different animal in the wet. As you see, our provisional pole sitter even struggling. This is not the first time I saw him with a spin. They're really just trying to push the corners and extract as much pace out, but the track is just not letting them do it. It's going to be one of those that you're going to have to do a little bit of tiptoeing through this track early in the race. Hopefully, I don't see any rain. Well, I'll take that back, as we come down through turn 2 and we see a little spotty shower there. So if the rain holds off and it doesn't add any more to it, we might see a dry line before the end of the race, which will change things dramatically. But for now, it's just going to be do the best you can. Try and avoid as many of the puddles as possible. Find yourself a good wet line to run. Probably want to stay off of that sausage curb there through the bus stop. Sometimes just being clean and patient is going to get you a good result, and I think that's what we may see again tonight.
So much water over the bus stop chicane, which Sean Gaynor went through. That's going to be an almighty challenge if it remains that grippy through that. We're now looking at Max Kaiser, who last week snatched victory right at the death from Tom Strange, and that was an almighty finale to that one. Half an hour it'll be for the race. There is a warm-up session which the drivers will get more of an idea as to what the track surface will be like. It will be closer to the race time, so the conditions may change between now and when the race does begin. In terms of the lap times, we're seeing Max Kaiser fastest with 1 minute 58.2, followed by William Lindner in second place on a 1 minute 58.4, so Lindner has got a couple of tenths to find. Then we've got Nicholas Dubelski in third place on a 1 minute 58.6, and Lincoln Olsen in fourth on a 1 minute 58.6. Where are they going to be the overtaking spots then, Charles? Because if you look at all the standing water out on the circuit, it's gonna be something to factor in how the drivers pull off these overtakes, because they don't want to go offline and then head straight through a puddle as they're passing other drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's passing is going to be at a premium tonight, and it just may be that we see another spin there, and this may be how you pass as we see Kaiser go by, is the car in front making a mistake and you're allowing you to just kind of sneak through. But yeah, it's you know, when you get onto a wet track, you know, we'll have drivers with different skill levels here in the league. Some will find themselves a dry line, or at least a line off the normal racing line in which to operate. And then some will just try and fight their way through the normal racing line, which sometimes is not necessarily a good idea, because it's already kind of been rubbered in, and just makes it a little extra slick. I did check our radar, and we are on the back half of the backside of the rain front that moved through. So with the extra 10 minutes of warm-up after the qualifying session, we may start seeing a drying track, which may help things and may make the racing a little bit better, but you're going to have to be patient early as we work to get to that dry line.
Which presents another opportunity for the drivers to learn the ropes with the circuit, with the grip improving. Whether they'll be on wet tyres or slicks, it's most likely going to be on wets. There's no intermediates like you would see in Formula 1. It is either the wets or the slicks, which the drivers will have to decide which will be best. There are no mandatory pit stops involved in this one. It is essentially a sprint in this, but drivers are going to have to pick carefully as to how much fuel they'll carry into the race.
Yeah, fuel usage will be on the wet tires will be significantly less. Now, how much less is the question. If we do start heading toward a drying track, the lap times will pick up, and you will start burning a little more fuel. So it may be that we just stay with our normal fuel allocation, since we are running I think we are running a fixed setup anyway. So it may be taken out of their hands. So we may just have a fixed set that can't be adjusted. I think that's exactly right. I'm checking it now. So we'll not have to worry about fuel usage. Should have enough to get you to the end of the race, whether the track is wet or dry.
Mike Schmidt running the Braun GP livery on his car. It does take me back to the days, of course, when Jenson Button won the 2009 championship with the team that also won the constructors in their one and only campaign as a constructor before the team was rebranded to Mercedes. We look at Tom Strage, ninth fastest after the previous lap he did. He's got time to complete this one. He's gone green in sectors 1, 2 and 3, 4 not so quick. But sector 5, he should do enough to at least move up one position. He does move up to 8th at the expense of Joel Campbell, who drops down to 9th. We've only got John Oken and Jackson Olsen out on the circuit, along with Ryder Poe and Abdul Huda, who is aiming for an improvement from last week. There is John Oken, who has not posted a representative time. Neither has Jackson Olsen. It doesn't look like either of them are going to be doing so, although Olsen did get over the line, but it's not a legit lap for him, so he'll have to start from 22nd place.
Yes, we saw on board there with Oken coming around what I like to call the bootstrap, which is the final corner coming out of the boot section, back onto the NASCAR straightaway, which is 2 corners away from the front stretch. And that corner is tricky in the dry. In the wet, you're going to have to really pay attention to what you're doing there. It's a very, very fine line on how to extract pace out of that corner. That is tricky turn 9, and obviously John did not quite get it right. As we saw, there's a lot of standing water there on the exit of the corner. Lots of curbs there as well, which are not going to be very friendly to these cars.
Into the warm-up we go, and the rain is still refusing to hold up. It is still pouring down onto the circuit, and well, we'll find out how much grip is still remaining on the racetrack. I know some shots perhaps tell you that it is that it's not raining, but other shots, particularly when they're going uphill,
Yeah, it's
that it
we're
is still raining.
We're at the very back of the rain band now. So this is the last of the rain we should see. Maybe catch a spot here and there over the next few minutes, but this rain will be gone by the time that warm-up's done. So it'll just be whatever water we have left on the track. And looks like we're going to get a little bit of cloud cover removed, so partly cloudy. I feel like I'm a weatherman now, but partly cloudy once this rain goes through. So a little bit of sunshine will help dry this track out quite a bit better, as the cars are now lining up for their requisite standing start here. As we've got Lincoln Olsen backing into a car. I think this is saying hello. But this is what they do, both in the F4 series and in the MX5s that are broadcast on Thursday night. We do a standing start, gives everybody a chance to kind of race against each other and get a feel for pack racing. As we get started here, and you see them taking off. I think there we are, and so you're going to see the cars fan out. You'll see the spray. Really is going to give you a good indicator of what kind of visibility you have as well. These cars that are further back in this pack are not going to be able to see much of anything until we get some of the water and some of the water gone. As you can see, Lincoln Olsen there with the 87 just in front of Joel Campbell. That 711 car. Just trying to get up to speed, but still having to fight the car as they go through the puddles.
Yeah, and the sun is poking through at the moment. They are trying to disperse as much of the water as possible whilst they are on the circuit. So I suppose that could help for when they go racing later. And just to read the live chat as well, OG Boogeyman is in the house, according to him. Hello to you, sir. Alicia Sorrett saying, let's go ESSR. I wonder who that is, so she may have to fill me in on which driver that is that she's rooting for. And hello to Brendan Kennedy, who has joined in to watch some brilliant F4 racing. We are very good, thank you, Brendan. It's been that sort of day in the UK. No rain over where I am. We have had a lot of sunshine, even though it is still rather cold. But of course, since it is March, we are coming towards the spring season, so things are beginning to mild up.
Yeah, we're here in lovely Birmingham, Alabama. Mostly clear today, and we had a high of about 20 Celsius, so mid 70s, upper 70s. So lovely pre-spring day. I'm sure we'll get a little more cold weather before we finally get out of the winter pattern. So it's just really weird how the weather works here. You just wait an hour, probably be a little different. So we'll keep an eye on this as we get starting to get a nice little line here as cars are lining up and trying to find themselves a nice line to move down the straightaway. You see the cars kind of moving over, maybe a quarter to a half a car over, just to get a little more visibility for the driver, so they can see what's ahead and maybe spot their braking point a little better. And you see that makes for some good side-by-side racing there at the front of the field.
Yeah, so just dicing around here. This could be quite a part of the circuit if it is going to remain wet during the race, where overtakes could potentially happen. Alicia's answered my question what ESSR stand for. It's Eat, Sleep, Sim, Repeat.
There you
go.
I'm going to say that she is a fan of Ryder Poe, just from that comment.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you, Ryder. For when the race does get underway, we'll run down on the grid once the warm-up session has reached its conclusion. Shelley's giving her support to Dave Oakham, and good to hear from her. Alicia saying the Oakham brothers repping Eat, Sleep, Sim, Repeat tonight. Let's hope for the best from John and Dave, and Joe Stubertsky is let's go Stu, but that's Nicholas Stubertsky who he's referring to. Best of luck to him this evening as we watch. That is who was that? That's Jackson Olsen, who just spun round there at the penultimate turn, and now we switch to David Grodzinski, who is continuing on his way. The driver's dispersing some of the water on the track, in preparation for later. It feels like the rain has stopped now, so that can only be good news. It could be one of those races, Charles, where it does transition from being a wet track to a dry track. It's who is prepared to take the risk and go on a set of slicks.
It may be. We may get to that point in the last 10 minutes of the race where we get to a point to where the drivers will know. I've done a little bit of the wet to dry transitioning in my practices for Sebring and for the next special event coming up, and you get that there's a transition point there where you start picking up pace on the wets. Then the wets kind of really slow down because they just overheat so quickly once the water's drying. You have to either start looking for wet parts of the track so you can keep some water on the tires to keep the temperatures down, or you just come in and take your chances on a set of dries, and hopefully you don't find a random puddle out there somewhere. So we'll see how, if we get to that point, it'll make things very interesting. Could shake up our finishing order with that, either coming in too early or coming in too late, because it's always difficult to find the exact right time to come in and change off those tires.
And given the lap times we were seeing that just under 2 minutes, so we're probably looking at around about 5 laps of racing if there is 10 minutes, but for 30 minutes you're probably looking at around about 16 laps of racing, no more than that. We are looking now at Max Kaiser, last week's winner at Belle Isle, sitting in 4th position in this warm-up. The lap times are not going to be representative, just so that you know. It is just more of a feel as to where the grip is now. That I'm sure there is more grip here compared to what we saw in the qualifying session, and certainly from what we saw in practice before we went on air. Kaiser goes to the top of the timing pages, so that tells me that the track grip is improving by the second.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably time that we mention our sponsors here as we're rounding up the end of the warm-up period. And if I can do this or you, it doesn't matter to me. Either way is fine.
I'll let you do the honours of that, Charles.
So, just a second here, and we'll find copy. There we go. So obviously, first and foremost, we want to thank the Detroit region, the SCCA, for putting on both this and the MX5 series that, as we said, broadcast on Thursday nights. Couldn't have done it without their support. Also, we want to thank Waterford Hills Road Racing, Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. Waterford Hills is located in Clarkston, Michigan, and hosts a 6-weekend race series, a competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track is hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on those event days, and is open to the public for a $5 nominal entry fee, and that's all it takes to get you close to the action. Check out waterfordhills.com for details. Also, we want to thank our Michigan Turn Marshals for their support as well. If you want to get really close to the racing action, check out michiganturnmarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the very soon upcoming Detroit Grand Prix. And then finally, the last but not least, Super Lap, located in the world-renowned Woodward Avenue, Berkeley, Michigan. Super Lap is a sim drive studio, a space to meet and compete with professional-grade racing simulators. They are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals with education, practice, and training. Maybe you're familiar with the world's most famous international Formula One series. Well, their best driver is a proponent of sim racing and sim training, and if Max Verstappen uses a sim, why shouldn't you? You can race and practice against an AI roster. You can go head-to-head with other humans, or you can do both. They offer a competitive league play like the DRSCCA League. Go to superlap.world for all the details. Once again, thank you so much to all of our sponsors for their support and for the support for the series and for the broadcast.
Thank you, Charles, for running through the sponsors. Without them, this championship wouldn't exist. We are coming towards the end of the warm-up session. There we look at Melvin Mungai, who is 4th fastest in the warm-up session. Whilst we were talking through the sponsors, I think the rain came back, actually, as we saw Joes go through the tow section. It's not showing at the moment on here as we watch Melvin Mungai go through the inner loop. Now it comes back, you see. So it's only parts of the circuit where the rain is hitting the racetrack.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a curl there at the back of that is just going to kind of scrape through, and it looks like it's already starting to cease as we roll forward. Taking a look here at the track from our view, and I started to see a little bit of a dry patch, so maybe we're going to get our dry line out here pretty quickly, and we'll have some good dry racing as we've got our qualifying order up and ready to get started.
Max Kaiser on pole ahead of William Lindner, with Nicholas Dubutski and Lincoln Olsen on row number 2. Ryan Carwile and Ahmed Baidoun on row 3, followed by Melvin Mungai and Tom Strage. Joel Campbell and Sean Gaynor are on row number 5, followed by Trent McMillan and William Lovejoy. Drew Leonard and Ryder Poe on row 7, followed by Alex Carter and Abdul Huda. Dave Oken and Alex Larson are on the 9th row of the grid, and followed by Mike Schmidt and David Grudzinski. On the back row of the grid, we've got John Oken and Jackson Olsen.
Yes, I'm just looking. I'm watching our SDK timing and scoring software, and saw John Oken come out on dries. I think he's went back in and reset to wets, but William Lindner is out there on the dry tire, so we'll see how that's going to work. That might be
I'm going to interrupt you, Charles, because the race is underway now, and Max Kaiser has got to a superstar in the tricky conditions. It looks like William Lindner did not get off the line very, very well. He was on the front row, and now he's dropped down to 9th position as the drivers make their way up the hill towards the S's, and then it'll be a back straight coming up for the field. So it's Max Kaiser who leads the way, then it's Nicholas Stubutski in 2nd place, the highest of the AMs, and it's Lincoln Olsen and Ahmed Baidoun who have made up ground. Ryan Carwile is in the same position where he was on the grid, followed by Melvin Mungai and Tom Strage. Trent McMillan has made up 3 places from where he has started, followed by Sean Gaynor and William Lindner, who's now down to P10 as they all go through the bus stop chicane for the first time.
Yeah, as we see a little spin there right in front. That was Leonard, I believe, with the
it's
spin.
Lindner.
And, yeah,
Lindner's got involved as well.
Yeah,
they both collided.
Yeah, so I think that might have been Lindner trying a strategy that just didn't quite pay off, unfortunately, coming out on the dry tires. He tried to hang on to, as we see a spin there. That's Huda in the background there, spinning in the chute and up against the barrier. Don't know if that was a major contact or not, but we've got Carter, Leonard, and Lindner, all 3 with meatballs. Now Huda as well, so actually it was a pretty difficult collision. Larson also with a meatball. Oken, I think, actually got a black flag, maybe a jump start, so that may be a drive-through penalty that John Oken is going to have to take care of.
I think William Lindner started the race on dry tyres, hence why he did not get off the line very, very well from 2nd place. There's going to be plenty of pit lane activity at the end of the first lap, involving the likes of Alex Carter. Drew Leonard is also in need of some surgery, as is Abdul Huda. But the likes of Lindner and Larson, they have gone no further in this. Oken will be coming in to serve his drive-through penalty, unless it'll be a stop and go, but either way he will need to serve that within the next 3 laps. And it looks like Dave Oken has gone round and might have ended up going into the pit lane. Plenty of drivers struggling to get the traction coming out of the first corner on the circuit. There is Mungai going through on Carwile. He was the one actually who got out of shape on the exit turn number 1, and he's now got Tom Strage to his left hand side, and unless he can hold it out on the inside, but it's not the ideal line to take into the inner loop, and so he has to yield.
Yeah, it's really not. It's difficult sledding out there right now, as we've already seen a handful of incidents as cars are kind of moving forward and moving backward as well. And just kind of watching to see how the water's starting to clear. Haven't really seen a dry line starting to form yet. I still see a lot of spray coming off the back of the cars, and the drivers are still struggling, as we see Dave Oken here on the replay coming around the final corner, and he's going to loop the rear end, just carrying a little too much speed, and bounce it off, loses his rear wing, and immediately drops in. If you're gonna have an incident, that's the best place to do it, right there at pit entry, and he'll be able to come in. I see Alex Carter already lost his rear wing as well, and then with a little bit of maybe a contact with the other car that was pitting as he was trying to come through, but now he's got to circle it around and try and get through also.
Yeah, not good news for Alex Carter. He's left himself with so much to do, but of course, will have been a wet race. There's a long way to go. It doesn't like the rain is hitting the racetrack, so let's hope that the track can dry out before this race is over. Might see a driver or two decided to gamble on a set of slicks, but there's still too much standing water around. So my prediction is that it's going to be a wet race all the way through, but the track will pick up in terms of grip at some stage.
Yeah, we'll just start watching the lap times as we're already about a second and a half a lap faster than we were in qualifying. So it's already starting to get better as the drivers are on their third lap around. So they are starting to push some of the water off the track, and that's just going to get a little bit better each lap. We'll start seeing the lap times dropping as we get probably going to gain another 6 or 7 seconds of lap time here as this track dries, and we'll see if anybody makes the gamble, because the dry tires on a drying track, if you can get the temps in the tires, you can avoid any puddles that remain are going to be significantly faster than these treaded wet tires.
There is Nicholas Stubowski, who has got Tom Strage to his outside. Strage absolutely flying in the conditions at the moment, and he's about to pick off another one on his list. And through goes Strage into 4th position. There is Ahmed Beydoun, who is the next driver he'll be chasing after as they come out of the toe. And then it will be the heel, which they will go through part of the boot section of the course. That's why the corners are named after the likes of toe and heel. But here they come to the heel now. And you could just see the difference in lines of the drivers are taking as well, which will help Strage, because then he knows where the grip is. He knows where the grip is compared to maybe how the others are. And there he goes, look, through on Beydoun. He made that look easy.
He did indeed. Just took a very tight line there through that turn 9, and was able to make the pass. And Strage is our highest rated driver in iRacing by quite a bit. I mean, 6.5K. So a lot of experience behind the wheel there, and he's probably done a few hundred laps in the wet. We see Grodzinski with a meatball and a tow back to the pit. So obviously an incident somewhere out on the track. So it'll be interesting to see if Strage is going to be able to make up the gap. Kaiser has done such a great job this season as we get the replay here with Grodzinski coming through the hill. And then around, and is he going to hit that? Yeah, you got to watch out. The painted curbs, the painted lines here are going to be really, really slick, almost ice-like until this track gets dry. They'll be the last things on the track to dry off. As we see a spin there, that's Jackson Olsen, and there's that other car. Is that Ryder Poe? No, that maybe Mike Schmidt. Okay, and Schmidt looks like he's got a. Going to have an issue with the rear wing missing. That's going to make things extremely treacherous as we get back to the live action. As I said, as we saw Sean Gaynor there on that curb, you're going to be very careful with these painted curbs and the painted lines. As we have another incident there, that's the 7 car of Mungai and Carwile in the 71 coming through the chute. Looks like a little incident there as the 7 car just carrying a little too much speed for the rear end to handle. And there we go, slow motion, and nowhere for the 71 to go. Carwile into the barrier along with the 7 car of Mungai, and that's 2 more that are headed back to the pits for repairs.
Absolutely. So the conditions are still very tricky out there, even though the conditions have improved from the warm-up and from qualifying. Grodzinski has rejoined the race now, albeit it's down at the back in 20th place. There we see Lincoln Olsen, who has made up 2 positions from where he has started, up in 2nd place now behind your race leader, Max Kaiser. The gap is 6 tenths. We don't need me to tell you what the gap is because they're that close. And that's damage for Carwile. He is struggling to get that car back to the pit lane.
Yeah, he's got some left front suspension damage, the wings bent. So he's just kind of, and it looks like right rear as well. So he's just struggling to get the car to corner. Just 2 more corners before he can get down to pit lane. So he's going to do his best to try and get back there without taking the tow. As we see Schmidt also, Mungai in the pits now, Carwile in the pits. Schmidt will be coming up there very soon. He'll have to come in and get his car repaired as well. Is just starting to take a little more of that curb there on the inside there at the bus stop.
Yeah, we saw pit stops last week at Belle Isle. It's just come back to me, actually. So it wouldn't surprise me if they all decide to make a pit stop at some stage. They don't have to do that if they don't want to, but it probably would help to maybe go on another set of tyres for the latter part of the race. It's just, are the wet tyres what they need, or will it be the slicks? My guess will be that the wet tyres are still what they need to be put on.
Yeah, so far it doesn't look like that the water is drying, although there's a couple of spots here and there where we're starting to see a little bit of a dry line through a couple of the corners, especially the elevated corners where the water can kind of run off a little easier. But there's still, once again, on the flip side of that is there's still several corners that have standing water that are just going to be deadly to a tire, dry tire, even if it's up to temp.
Well, you can still see the standing water at the third to last corner of the racetrack. As we look at the top two in your picture, Max Kaiser and Lincoln Olsen. We are coming up to the 10-minute mark in this one now. And so far, so good from the leaders. You can just tell by the lap times, these are the best laps they've done in the race. It's not what they've done on the last... Oh, they are what they are on the last tour. So you've got a comparison, actually, in lap times compared to maybe what they did in quali. So they have been setting times comprehensively, and the 57s are the leaders, whereas those behind, it's like 58s or 59s, if not slower.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of lap traffic there as we're watching Schrage coming through the S's. And I think that's, I'm trying to see who that might be, maybe Grudzinski, the 10 car. It is indeed going a lap down, already been into the pits for repairs. So he's trying to do as best he can and hang on, but he's going to go a lap down to these guys as he works his way out of the bus stop through the carousel. Or the inner loop and outer loop, if you're a NASCAR fan, that's what they're called. As we're watching McMillian and Gaynor, P6 and 7, having a nice battle there as they're working their way through that section also. So, yeah, we'll see how the lap times start coming down. If they start dropping really quickly, if we start seeing big jumps as opposed to the 2 or 3 tenths a lap that we've been seeing, if they start getting big jumps, and we can see a transition to different tires. But so far, I don't think we're even real close to that at the 11-minute mark of this race.
Mungai has found the barrier again. He's only just been out of the pit lane after having to pit in for repairs. And we'll find out exactly what he'd been up to. We're right on board with Sean Gaynor as he chases after Trent McMillian for 6th position. As they head towards the heel. Is Gaynor thinking about a move? Well, he's allowing McMillian to take his own line. And he's deciding that it's best to wait around a little bit before the next best opportunity. We're on lap number 6, or coming towards the end of lap number 6. Kaiser still leads by a second, and also is beginning to pull out more of a gap on him now. We're right on board with Mike Stripp, who's going back through on Dave Oakham for 15th position down the inside. I don't think Oakham actually made the corner, did he? No, he cut the chicane.
Yeah, he cut the chicane. He looked like he was going to take the emergency road, then darted across the grass. I think I probably just would have kept going straight and served my time penalty, which is what you'll get when you go through that section. But you know, it beats trying to drive it through the grass, which is the wet, still the wettest part of the track, as we see him just lose control there, and yep, just cuts straight through there. Cuts through the bus stop and gets back out on the surface. Once again, I think that obviously when you're just trying to get the car stopped, the first thought doesn't come to your head till quite a bit later.
Since the Sorka's coming and saying, of all races to miss, this looks like a wreck fest. I'm not too upset. Well, he's perhaps maybe chosen a good round to miss. Danny Poe's showing his support for Mungai as well. Good on you for doing so. And MM Speed is coming in Spin City for sure. Well, it is situated in the state of New York, so that could maybe align with what you're coming out with there. Drew Leonard coming into the pits. I'm not sure if this is a scheduled pit stop for him, but if it is, then he's taking the opportunity. I'd be interested to know whether he might gamble on a set of slicks. If you are one of those at the back of the field, he is on slicks, so we may be able to see a comparison in lap times. I think it's gone too soon, though, Charles, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. As we're looking at the lap times, and the lap times haven't really gotten any faster for the last couple of laps. They've actually kind of slowed up a little bit. So that tells me that even our leaders are still not comfortable. We'll see what Leonard can do if he comes out and he can get this tire switched on and avoid the puddles that are still out there. He might be onto something. We'll know within about 2 laps whether or not that's going to be the correct call.
Lincoln Olsen clouds at the wall on the exit of the final corner. I don't think it's done too much damage to the car. He may have just hit that square on, quite frankly. But he survives for now. We'll want to see how Drew Lennett's getting on the outlap, because he is dropping back all the time, to be honest with you. And there he is, look, he's gone through on Dave Oaken, who is continuing to struggle out there. And I think he's hit the wall, actually, hence why he's got that black and orange flag next to his name on the timing tower.
Yeah, I'm just watching. He was gaining on Oaken in a hurry, so I'm just kind of watching the lap time between him and Carter, who is the next car ahead, and he's picked up about 0.3 of a second down the straightaway. So maybe onto something. If he's caught him out, then he's going to make up lots and lots of time. But you see still there a little bit of struggle with that braking zone, and this is going to be very, very touchy, and manages to get through there. There's still a little bit of standing water there, so he's going to have he's going to have to be very, very careful through some of these higher speed corners. Just not going to be able to push the car that hard yet. But on the straightaways and some of the slower speed stuff, probably going to be okay. So we'll see what he's able to do as he's still gaining time on Alex Carter. You see him in the front of the screen there. He's gained another half second or so as they're coming down the front straight. Yeah, well, that was the outlap at which he did. So next time around, we'll see a comparison to what he's doing. Maybe not with the leaders, because they're in a different league of the compared to where Leonard is. But by the time the leaders maybe do come in to get another set of boots on, they may decide to risk it and go on a set of 6, because they've got plenty in time. They've got plenty of time in hand over the likes of Stubulski, McMillan, Gaynor, and all that. Yeah, absolutely. They've got plenty of time, but Schrage is closing them down a little bit. He's brought that down from about 4.2 down to 2.8, so he is starting to make up a little bit of the gap. As I think the leaders up front, because they've got such a wide margin to the cars behind, have kind of slowed their pace down just a little bit, but Schrage is able to capitalize on it and start closing them down. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. This may be a 3-car battle here very soon.
Yeah, Leonard's had a spin on this lap as Drew, and he's lost ground to Alex Carter. So we're not going to see the representative lap time from him. We've got a pit stop now for Jackson Olsen, who's made his way into the pit lane. This is at the inner loop. Yeah, he just caught too much curb, and with all that standing water, there was no way he was going to be able to survive that without spinning.
Yeah, no, you've got to stay off that curb probably for the remainder of the race. You got to make that a very narrow line. Keep off the curbs, off the apexes. Stay out of the puddles. But he was really gaining a lot of time before that spin. So if he can manage to get it back and just kind of tighten his line up a little bit, he still might be able to pick up 3 or 4 positions here in short order. He's just got to. Looks like he's had another issue. As I'm just kind of watching his times, either that or there was a change for position as we see John Oaken with a meatball and another incident, it looks like. So he's going to have to come back into the pits.
Well, there we see Armour Baydoun ahead of Nicholas Stubulski, who are coming through the penultimate turn to complete another lap. Out comes Oaken. John Oaken, that is, who's just exited the pit lane. He's still on wets with his latest trip, so he feels that now is not the time to be making the switch to slicks just yet. Drew Leonard is still out there on the 6. I don't think he's come back into the pit lane. Well, Trent McMillan has found the barrier, unfortunately, hence why he's having to come back into the pit lane. It's not like he's gone straight back to the pit lane. He might have just done it on the last corner by just carrying a little bit too much, and the rear just stepped out. Yeah,
unfortunate. McMillan, and so he's going to have to come in and serve. We'll see if he makes a switch or if he's going to stay out on the wets as well as he comes in, gets his fast repair, and gets the car back on track. as we switch down to Jackson Olsen, who's currently running in P12, having a pretty good run, up 10 positions from his starting spot. So doing a good job of just keeping the car on the track and making passes while people are in the pits.
And McMillan's been penalised as well. That'll be for going too quickly into pit road, and that'll cost him even more time by the time he gets back to the pits. But there is Kaiser, who has led the way since the beginning, and we've lost the likes of Alex Larson, we've lost Lindner as well, William Lindner, Melvin Mungai, and Dave Oakham. And David Krasinski's still going as we speak. I think McMillan has served his penalty now, and he's running in P12 ahead of Mike Schmidt.
Yes, so far just a nice little battle here between Beta and Stabelski. Once again, a couple of cars that have just really not pushed the issue, run the pace they can run, and they found themselves together on the track. And we'll see if Stabelski is going to be able to make a move here going into maybe turn one, or is going to be able to get a run going down into the bus stop. That's the normal positions. As I'm just kind of watching again, seeing the spray off the cars a little bit better each lap, but still you see this as they get to these wetter positions, how the spray really just kicks back up and makes it a little more difficult to see and a little more difficult to keep the car under control.
Right about has found the barrier as well. We'll get a replay as to what he's been up to. So we are now on lap number 11 with 10 minutes to go, just under. And Ridepote has taken the opportunity to make its way back into the pit lane. Melvin Mungai has made his way back out on track now as well, albeit he's a long way off everyone else. He's probably just getting a little bit more mileage and more of an understanding as to what the wet tyres can do for him in an F4 car. But there we see Olsen all over the back of Kaiser now with Schrage slowly but surely closing in.
Yeah, Schrage still closing that gap, and these guys have still kind of running in the 58, so really haven't picked up the pace very much. So it kind of tells me that they're trying to play it safe with one other car up there in contact. P4 13 seconds back, so not in any fear of losing out of the podium, except if they wreck themselves. And that's kind of the thing, is that they're saying, you know what, we can run 158s here and be very comfortable and not have to worry about being tracked down from behind.
Looking to see what Leonard's done on this lap. Well, we've got pit stop activity involving Kaiser and Olsen, which hands the lead over to Tom Schrage for now. Leonard's lap times, just waiting for the latest lap for what he's doing, unless he's made his way into the pit lane, which he hasn't done. I don't think he's improved, to be honest with you. I think the last lap time may not have been great. Only 2 minutes dead compared to maybe what the likes of Carter and all that are doing on full wets. So it's not a big difference when you think of it.
Yeah, he's actually still slower than the leaders, but it was 10 seconds faster that lap, so he does have the tire switched on, and he's got some heat in him. I think now it's just kind of finding the line that's going to be able to extract the most time. As you still see, there's a puddle there on pit exit. So not sure how much faster he's going to be able to get, as we're still seeing, even on the racing line, still seeing a lot of spray off the back of these cars. So maybe just not going to be feasible. It's worth a shot, and he's had one little incident there through the bus stop, so he hasn't really wrecked the car by jumping to the dries. He's done a pretty good job there, as we see Olsen making the jump over the curb there on the inside of the bus stop. And it's just, I don't know if I'll be doing that. It's a risky proposition in the dry, especially with these cars that have as much mechanical grip as they do downforce, and it just makes that even a little more difficult there, as we see a car backing up. Got to be careful there. I think that was John Oaken that was backing up, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry for calling out the wrong driver there, but you gotta pay attention to your relative there to make sure that you're not going to back up into traffic. That was almost costly there for our two front runners.
And the timing page is appears to be frozen at the moment. We'll get that rectified for you in due course. And that is a spin on the entry to the boat. Can't quite tell who that is, who's just reversing back onto the side. That's the 19.
Yeah,
that has to be. That's John Oaken, who's had a race to forget so far in this. Go on, Jules.
So, I was going to say, apparently I'm a little bit ahead of our broadcast, and I apologize for that, as I'm logged into the session, so I'm more watching my session than I am the broadcast. So I have to switch over and watch the broadcast feed. As I do see that Nicholas Stabelski's also came in and pitted and has gone out on the dryers. So he's running in P6, back out on the dry tires. So we'll see if that makes a bit of a difference for him. As a little bit of a early run there through 15. So here might have some technical issues there that has let us know about. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. As it looks like, so it looks like we're having issues with our timing and scoring. So we'll try and keep you up to date as best we can as we're watching our P2 and P3, which is now back to P1 and P2 as Schrage has come into the pits and has taken his stop and has gone back out. Stabelski now up to P4 after coming into the pits, and has switched to the dry tire, so he's starting to make a little bit of a push there on the slicks.
We haven't got long left of this race now, as we see some action on circuit. This is a battle between, is that Stubulski who is involved in this? Because as they go down the back straight towards the inner loop. We do apologise with our timing tower, because that's not up to date, hence why we're not unable to give you details as to who is leading out in front. What we do know is that Tom Schrage has made his way into the pit lane, he's come back out. We want to see where he is compared to where Kaiser and Olsen are. We'll find out exactly, and then we have a rough idea as to where everyone is in that particular order.
As I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it, it looks like that our graphics are not working. I do see, looks like that timing and scoring is still working for me, and we're at the 26-minute mark of the race. So a couple laps left to go. Kaiser leads Schrage, leads Olsen. So this is the battle that we're seeing on the screen. That is Lincoln Olsen. You see Schrage sitting there right behind Max Kaiser. So that's our P1 and P2 from last week. So that might be some more drama unfolding here. Ahmed Beydoun is in P4. Joel Campbell running in 5th. Sean Gaynor in 6th. Stabelski came back out on the dries and has been the car. So he's gone back into the pits to get his fast repair taken care of. And he's coming back out in 7th position. Sean Gaynor has moved up to 6th.
Not too long now in this one, as we look at the number 18, or 15 rather, coming into the pit lane. He did hit the barrier actually as he came out of the boot, and that's why he's had to get the emergency repair work done. And he's got it done now. Sweet and sound.
Mm-hmm.
As he goes back out on the circuit now.
Yeah, so a little bit of a conversation here between me and the producer, since we don't have a talk back yet. Yeah, I'm the SDK software is working for me. The graphics are not. So so the graphics are frozen on my screen just as they are on yours, but the timing and scoring seems to be functional. Oh, lovely. We are on the white flag lap, so if we can go back to our lead group. If you can get back up there, that would be great. Focus on leader. Yep, there we go. There we go. So you see the inner workings there as we go through. This is the last lap battle, Tom, for the race win. We can see the 3 cars there on the screen. Kaiser and Olsen and Schrage in a dead heat coming down the backstretch into the bus stop.
Yep, this is the top three. You can see in your picture the white flag being waved. Kaiser in the red, that's Schrage in the blue, and Olsen to his right-hand side attacking. And it looks like Olsen's going to go through into second place as they make their way up towards the S's. Kaiser is still in the lead, but this battle between Olsen and Schrage is absolutely brewing as they head up the hill. And will it remain clean all the way through on this last lap? Kaiser on course for back-to-back wins, but will Schrage or Olsen do anything about it? We've got our timing page back up and running now, and so it should be updated over on the timing tower at your end as well. So great to see, but now we are running out of time in this race as we watch Schrage go through on Kaiser. I think we've lost Olsen because Olsen went through the chicane and Schrage has got past Kaiser. Brilliant move from Tom Schrage. He's through into the lead, and we've only got around about 20 seconds to go. This is going to be the last lap. The white flag did wave. Has Schrage done what Kaiser did to him last week at Belle Isle? It feels that way. Schrage comes out of the final corner, and he's going to win here at Watkins Glen in the DRSCCA F4 Series. And what a drive. The checker flag is way. Game over. Schrage takes the win ahead of Kaiser, with Lincoln Olsen rounding out the podium.
Yeah, great battle there. And looks like I think Olsen had issues through the bus stop. He was still fighting side by side with Schrage there, and maybe a little bit of contact. Did not quite get the best view, but definitely Olsen losing out a little bit to the front two, and Schrage with a great move there at the last three corners to get that race win. As we're on board here with Ryder Poe running in P9, and he's going to make his way around. He's right behind the car of Carwile as they come around the final corner with Stabelski just in front of them. Stabelski tried to switch to the dries, didn't quite work out for him, but he manages to pick up P7. And you see the drag race down 600ths of a second. Poe just edging out Carwile there to pick up P8. Carwile finishing in ninth. McMillian looks like he's going to finish in P10. So that'll round out our top 10. But a great battle up at the front for a full 30 minutes between two guys who know how to race from the front. Schrage and Kaiser, actually three. We'll throw Lincoln Olsen in there as well, even though kind of got bit there on the last lap. But all three of those guys, great front runners, and made the race very interesting there at the very end.
A shout to Joel Campbell as well, winning out in the AMS as well. Nicholas Dubelski in second place. And then running out the AMS is Jackson Olsen, who's come home in P11. We're just waiting for William Lovejoy and Alex Carter to head over the line. Lovejoy's gone over the line, as has Carter. Now we're just waiting on Melvin Mungai, who is going to finish the race, albeit 5 laps behind the leader. He's over the line now, and that is race over. And we'll run down on the final classification of today's race here at Watkins Glen in tricky conditions with the track drying out. And in the end, it was Tom Schrage who got his revenge on Max Kaiser from last week at Belle Isle. He is the winner with Kaiser second, Lincoln Olsen third, and Ahmed Beydoun in fourth position. Joel Campbell, the winner in the AMS, in fifth place, followed by Sean Gaynor and Nicholas Dubitsky, Ryder Poe, Ryan Carwile, and Trent McMillian rounding out the top 10. Jackson Olsen in P11, followed by Mike Schmidt and William Lovejoy. Alex Carter and David Gudzinski were the last of those to finish. We lost Drew Leonard. Melvin Mungo did make it to the end, but was 5 laps behind. Dave Oaken we lost along with Alex Larson, John Oaken, Abdul Huda, and William Lindner were lost on the opening lap of today's race. For those who've been supporting the Oakens, it's not been a good day, to be brutally honest with you.
No, it has not. Tough day out there, and this is a very tricky track, even in dry conditions. And as you can see in the wet, very, very difficult to keep the car pointed the right direction. As just hard racing and a difficult track made worse by the rain. So good learning experience for these drivers as getting some more seat time in the wet. in a car that struggles with downforce. Anyway, this is going to help their overall racing, as we're getting a nice replay here of Schrage making the dive down in the toe to make that move. I'm sorry, into the heel to make that move. You see Kaiser running wide out of the heel, coming back across into the puddle there over the curbs. Schrage, good line through there. Even on the outside, manages to do it. We saw him with an inside move earlier, and this is on the outside, still able to get the power down. As you see the car sliding, the back end of both cars sliding around, coming out of turn 9. And just a great move, nicely completed by Schrage. And Kaiser did everything he could do to try and get it. Got a good run down the front straight, but just not enough at the end.
He ran out of time to do anything about Schrage, who came through the field splendidly. Brilliant fight through the field from Tom Schrage. From 8th position to the win. Kaiser led all the way up until that moment. But it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And Schrage absolutely finished it beautifully. And after that wet encounter, we could well have another wet one, because it's over at Spa next week for the finale of this series for its winter season. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in. We do apologise again for the technical difficulties that we had for a few minutes, but that was rectified before the race had concluded. And thank you to all the drivers who have put on a brilliant show again. And a shout out to the league's sponsors for supporting this championship. And if you enjoyed it that much, do like and subscribe, and that way you won't miss a thing and you won't miss anything from this particular league. And as for myself, Charles and Amet, we'll speak to you again soon when the DRSCCA F4 series returns. Thank you and good night.